Okay, let's just dive right in. You know the dream we've all been sold for generations, right? Get a good education, land a stable job, and just settle into that comfortable middle-class life. We were told that was the path to security. But what if that path isn't safe anymore? What if, as we head into 2026, the very idea of middle-class stability has become the biggest financial risk you can possibly take?
And this quote, wow, this just nails it, doesn't it? This isn't about you failing. It's about a system that's designed to keep you running in place. It feels safe, it looks successful from the outside, but really it's a beautifully constructed cage.
So if you feel like you're doing everything you were told to do, I mean, you got the degree, you have the good job, you're paying all your bills, but you still feel stuck, like you're just one surprise car repair away from disaster, you're not going crazy. That feeling of being trapped, that's not a personal failure. It's a feature of this modern financial system.
So how exactly does this trap work? Well, it's built on 4 specific financial pressures that are designed to lock people in. Let's start unpacking this cage, piece by piece.
All right, first up is the trap that's probably the most immediate and, frankly, paralyzing. It's the stranglehold of fixed expenses. This is the main chain that locks you to your desk every single day, whether you actually like your job or not.
So here's how it goes, right? You see it on the left, you get that good salary. And what's the first thing we're taught to do? Get a good mortgage, a good car loan, and boom, suddenly 80% of your income is spoken for before you even get to touch it. And the danger? Look at the right. You're chained to those payments. You've traded your freedom for a lifestyle. You can't start that business, you can't walk away from a terrible boss, because every single month you're working for the bank.
And this right here, this quote flips the entire script. Real security, true safety, it's not about how much you earn. It's about how much you control. Having low overhead and a few different ways money is coming in, that gives you options. And options, that's the real currency of freedom.
Okay, so let's move on to the second trap, and you'll see how these start to stack up. As if high expenses weren't bad enough, the middle class has another, well, unique problem. You are the government's absolute favorite customer. You're a giant, blinking target for taxes.
This is what's known as the middle-class squeeze. Think about it. The super wealthy, they have armies of accountants and lawyers to find every single loophole. People with lower incomes get government subsidies and support. But if you're stuck in the middle, you earn way too much to get any help, but not nearly enough to afford the fancy strategies to protect your money. So the critical point is this. You end up paying a higher percentage of your income in taxes than almost anyone else. I mean, look at this. To make it real, just imagine that every single dollar you earn from January 1st all the way through the end of April, it's not even yours. Poof, it goes straight to the tax man. A third of your working year is spent just paying for the privilege of being in this spot. That's a staggering amount of your life's energy just being siphoned away. And here is the stark, hard reality of it. As long as your main source of income is a standard paycheck from an employer, you are always going to be taxed at the highest rates. The game changes completely when your money starts coming from investments, from your portfolio, because that money is taxed way more favorably. That's the shift you have to be aiming for.
All right, on to trap number 3. This one is especially dangerous because it feels so completely counterintuitive. I'm talking about the myth of the steady job for professionals, especially as we look toward 2026.
For decades, being a lawyer, an accountant, a mid-level manager, that was the definition of a stable career. But that foundation is crumbling. And why? Because the very tasks those jobs are built on, analyzing data, writing reports, managing processes, are exactly what AI and global outsourcing are getting incredibly good at and incredibly cheap to do. That whole sense of security is just an illusion.
Just look at the risk profile this chart lays out. Relying on one single paycheck is 100% risk. If that one source gets cut off, a layoff, a restructuring, anything, your entire financial world just collapses. Now compare that to having multiple, smaller streams of income. If one disappears, sure, it hurts, but it doesn't destroy you.
So the big takeaway here is that we need to start thinking about our careers the same way we think about investing. Diversify. A side hustle, a freelance gig, a small digital product, these aren't just for extra cash anymore. They are an essential part of your financial survival plan.
And that brings us to the final and maybe the most insidious trap, because this is one we put on ourselves. It's that social pressure to look successful, otherwise known as lifestyle inflation, or, just trying to keep up with the Joneses.
The danger here is that you're making a conscious trade. You are giving away your future financial freedom just to win a short-term status game. The trap is picking a neighborhood or a car or schools based on an image you feel you need to project, even if you know you can barely afford it.
And this is the brutal financial truth of it all. Every single dollar you spend on a fancier car or a bigger house to impress other people is a dollar that isn't being invested. It's a dollar that isn't earning compound interest and building real, lasting wealth for you and your family. You're sacrificing the substance of wealth for its shadow.
Okay, enough bad news. Understanding the trap is the first step to escaping it. So let's pivot and talk about the solution. A simple 3-step plan to break out and become an investor.
Now, this is simple, but it is not easy. First, you freeze your lifestyle. For the next 3 years, no matter what raise or bonus you get, your spending stays exactly the same. All that extra money goes to step 2. You attack your debt. Get rid of the car loans and the credit card balances that own you. And finally, with that new cash flow, you build the ultimate tool of freedom, the FU fund. And yeah, it is exactly what it sounds like. But don't think of it like an emergency fund. Think of it more like venture capital for your own life. It is the cash reserve that gives you the power to walk away from a bad deal. Or even better, the freedom to say yes to a great opportunity. This is the only true form of stability in 2026 because it puts the power back in your hands.
But look, escaping these traps isn't just about tactics. It's a total mental shift. You have to stop playing the safety game and start playing the ownership game.
And this might be the most important takeaway of all. See the middle class not as a destination, but as a temporary stop on your journey. The comfort and the perceived stability that it offers are precisely what prevent you from achieving real, lasting financial growth and freedom.
So, I'll leave you with this one question to really think about. Take a hard, honest look at your own situation. Are you getting comfortable in that gilded cage, or are you actively planning your escape and building your way towards ownership? The choice is yours.